What's up, everyone? Christian Duque, MD Noble Weekly, episode 23. Today is Wednesday, November the 22nd, the day before Thanksgiving. Hope you all are going to spend some time with your friends and family, the loved ones. It's all about family and it's all about giving thanks. Today, we've got so much to talk about. First and foremost, criticism. When did bodybuilding become a sport where you couldn't criticize? I saw a very interesting post on Twitter from none only than CT Fletcher. And CT was basically going on and on about how dare people criticize seven-time Mr. Olympia Phil Heath's form. I still don't know what that means, form. I thought it meant physique. So I said, how dare us, critique a bodybuilder's physique when we should all worship him? And CT responded and said, I didn't say physique, I said form. You know what I mean? I was just like, I don't know what that means. Does form mean, his demeanor, like the way that he treats people? Because, come on. Phil blocked me before the Mr. Olympia because I dared say that last year's runner-up, Sean Flexitron Roden, could win this year's Mr. Olympia. That was enough to have me blocked on Twitter and have me blocked on Instagram. If form means physique, then of course, what would bodybuilding be without opinions? It's a subjective sport. What the hell would he talk about? John Hawley, excellent photographer, did a great job at the Nationals alongside Ron Harris, our MD online editor-in-chief. He said that it probably meant the way that Phil lifts, the form in his exercises. But whatever it could have been, the fact that, CT responded the way that he did, as aggressively and as hostile as he did, and then ultimately called me a dumbass and blocked me. That's crazy. And it really got me thinking, could it be that, the Luimarcos of the world, the Phil Heaths of the world, the CT Fletchers of the world expect their fans to be basically fanboys? Just basically parrot everything they have to say, and if they don't, they block them. Oh, in CT's case, they insult him because he called me a dumbass, and then he blocked me. Man, that's not a way to treat your fans. But I guess, hey, you got millions of supporters. What's insulting a fan or two going to matter in the long run? I guess it doesn't really. But it's still the principle. I don't know. So, yeah, I got blocked by CT Fletcher for criticizing Phil Heath, whether it was how he lifted or how he acted or what his physique looked like. Not allowed to criticize Phil Heath. Not at least not on CT Fletcher's social media, because it'll get you cursed at and blocked. Next, I want to talk about Dave Palumbo. Let me give you a moment to Wikipedia that name, because no, I'm just kidding. We know who Dave is. RX Muscle, Jumbo Palumbo. Well, Dave apparently got thrown out of the NPC Nationals in Miami, Florida, because he was allegedly doing interviews backstage where no one is allowed to be, except for NPC News Online. And that's widely known. Muscular Development's Ron Harris and John Hawley had no problem following the rules. Kit Sanderson and Hector Mendoza of MD Latino had no problem. In fact, nobody had any problem following the rules except for Dave, who, according to his Instagram, which he did outside of the venue, wearing his Yamamoto t-shirt. By the way, man, how embarrassing must that be for Yamamoto? You're advertising with the guy that got thrown out of Nationals by a police escort, and he's outside of the venue making an Instagram live with your t-shirt on? Wow. I don't know. I'm just glad he wasn't wearing one of these t-shirts, because my jaw would have dropped and I would have been like, oh my God, please, but I guess, Yamamoto is cool with it. I don't know. I don't think anybody could be cool with it, honestly. I think it's really embarrassing, and Yamamoto is an amazing company, good supplements, great athletes, known all around the world. They can't be happy with Dave's antics, but hey, I don't speak for Yamamoto. I don't even speak for Muscular Development or Iron Man Labs. I just speak for Christian Duque. But as it turns out, Dave said that, he had asked J.M. Mannion for permission. I don't really believe that. Maybe he did. I don't really believe that J.M. gave him permission. But, And then Dave said, well, it's because he's 50 and because he's got, he just underwent shoulder surgery and leg surgery and, because he was just trying to make things fun. he just went ahead and did it. And I guess he got caught. I don't know. And, according to him, he was approached in the press pit and he was asked to leave. And at first he didn't want to leave. And then the police basically had to escort him out. And there's bits and pieces, clips, and now, he put out a video titled, Rallying the Troops, where he's basically, I guess, trying to rally what few supporters he's got left over there at RX Muscle. I mean, that place is really, really depressing. I mean, they practically have no traffic. I mean, Greg Valentino said it best. Dave, how many videos are you going to do about Rich Piana controversy and, how did he die and this and that? Because that seems that all Dave's been doing to get traffic is talking about Rich Piana. And now I guess he's going to, set his sights on poor Steve Carroll, the promoter of the Nationals, much like he did after last year's Arnold Classic with poor Peter McGuff, where he just went show after show after show attacking Peter, saying, Peter must have been drunk when Peter hadn't had a drink. Not one drink. And then after attacking him, mercilessly for weeks, Dave admitted on a couple of occasions, well, you know what I mean? Like basically saying he wasn't drunk and I never said that he was and I have no proof that he was and I probably shouldn't have said that. But I was just trying to make it fun. You know what I mean? Like whatever he said. You know what I mean? And so this promoter that's been around, from day one practically, like Peter Potter and really a very, very small group of old school originators in the NPC will now fall prey to Dave Palumbo and RX Muscle until Dave Palumbo and RX Muscle find a new topic to talk about. But right now, what they're talking about is that, this promoter is stuck in the past. This promoter isn't good for the future, and this promoter, did some horrible wrong to Dave because I guess he enforced the rules and Dave doesn't like it. The same rules that applied to Ron Harris and Kit Sanderson and Hector Mendoza, the same rules that apply to everyone. I guess Dave just thinks because he's 50 and has, leg and shoulder pains and just wanted to make things fun, then, it doesn't apply to him. I mean, since when did breaking the rules not justify consequences? I mean, what is this? Let's not have red lights anymore, or stop signs. I mean, let's just let everybody just race through the intersections, How long is that going to last? You know what I mean? There's rules in place for a reason. And as media, when we get a press pass, it's not a right. It's this idea, like some of these websites have this like really warped concept that a press pass is a right. Promoters don't have to give you press passes. They don't have to give you all access. They don't need most of you for promotion. They give you press passes are an incredibly, incredibly low priority for promoters. Incredibly low. The people that are not in the know, that are not in the industry, you don't understand, but promoters have much, much bigger fish to fry than, what website is going to cover their show. Especially when they have magazines like Muscular Development and Flex that are there. Especially when they have NPC News Online that's there. They don't care about RX Muscle. You'll pardon me for being so blunt, but they don't. They don't need RX Muscle. And in fact, the reality of the matter is what a lot of people are missing is that RX Muscle makes money like all the other websites make money through advertising. And how do they get advertising? By putting up content. Do promoters get a kickback? No. So when Dave's out there saying, oh, well, this promoter's making all this money, well, good for that promoter because promoters are business people. Bodybuilding shows are not charities. They have to pay their staff, which he didn't talk about either. They're expediters. They're backstage people. They're MCs. They're guest posers. They have to pay for the venue. Promoters have a really, really tough time nowadays. And you look at Dave Lieberman. NPC Natural Ohio, NPC Natural Northern USA, 2 massively successful shows. Well, in addition to all the costs that he has associated with the show, he has a bunch of natural federations and that federation and this federation that have realized that, he's making good business in Cleveland because he's got kick-ass shows. So what do? They put a show here and a show there and a show there and a show there and a show there, and they're strangling poor Dave Lieberman because they want that business, because they want that show. But the problem is they're not successful because Dave is one of the best at what he does. And all those others are cheap imitations. But it doesn't mean they don't try. So promoters really have a very, very difficult time sometimes making a profit. And they need to make a profit because that's what keeps the lights on. And that's what keeps the shows going. And so, a lot of the people that are, Dave's a champion, and then, Dave is fighting for reforms and that, you guys, I hate to say it, are a lot of the same people that thought that Lee Priest was a true revolutionary. I mean, like, honestly, guys, Dave is talking largely to a very, very uneducated mass. I'm not saying that you're not uneducated in the sense that you don't have college degrees and you don't have office jobs and you don't make a lot of money and you know what the word articulate means. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you're uneducated in the terms of the business aspect that promoters have to go through, and you're uneducated in terms of how the fitness industry actually works. And that's why you think Dave is really, this poor victim of just persecution and discrimination and all sorts of crap, which he is not. He is just a guy who, in my opinion, broke the rules and doesn't want to be treated like everybody else. Okay? And in the process, he's actually casting a lot of shade on the Nationals. In the process, he's actually casting a lot of shade on the NPC. And I kind of look at what Bob Ciccarillo said on the MD forums. If that's the case, why is this guy getting press credentials? If that's the case, the NPC and the IFBB Pro League should revoke his press passes for a whole year. Let him, sit and spin. You know what I mean? This is something that I spoke about with Mr. Jim Mannion just a few weeks ago. It's come to the point, whether it's websites that, just totally disregard the rules, or whether it's websites that trash the NPC and the IFBB Pro League, these organizations should not be allowed to prosper. They should not be allowed to go to NPC and IFBB Pro League events, interview our athletes. And I say our because I identify spiritually with these federations. I'm not actually legally a part of them. But, we should not allow them to benefit, if they don't abide by the rules and they don't respect the organizations. To ask for the resignation of a promoter that's been around as long as Steve Carroll is absurd. Not to mention disrespectful, not to mention incredibly irresponsible, because we know that everybody lives on these phones. We know everybody's on social media. So when Dave Palumbo is making a call to arms, asking for the resignation, asking that the Nationals be taken away from Steve Carroll, that's incredibly irresponsible, because now you have all sorts of people that are going to take to Twitter and YouTube. There's already YouTube videos. People that don't understand how the fitness industry works. Okay? And it's irresponsible, because you're going to have videos on YouTube and posts on Twitter and posts on Facebook and posts on Instagram about a lot of people that are just, they're going to be caught up in this whirlwind that was created by someone that does not want to abide by the rules and does not want the consequences if he in fact did break the rules. It's completely unacceptable. And so the question is there. Does someone in that situation deserve to get the same press passes as a Ron Harris, or the same press passes as a Kit Sanderson, or the same press passes as a John Hawley? When these folks did follow the rules, why should they be rewarded? It doesn't make any sense to me. You get the athlete from backstage, you go outside, you do the interview. If your leg isn't up to par, don't cover the show. But don't break the rules, and certainly don't say that you asked J.M. Mannion and that J.M. Mannion gave you permission, because I highly doubt that's the case. I'm not saying it's not the case. I'm just saying I highly doubt it's the case. So the reality of the matter is, my friends, is that, it's really a black and white issue. Yeah, it really is. And I really don't have anything else to say on the matter. I feel bad. Yeah, I feel bad that an old lady stole his computer at Whole Foods. I feel bad that he has, leg and shoulder pains. But that does not mitigate the fact that, if in fact he broke a rule, that he should be penalized just like anybody else. Wow. All right. Well, what else do I have to talk about? Brandon Curry. Congratulations to Brandon Curry. He outconditioned Cedric. Cedric looked phenomenal. Great muscle. Great posing. My gosh, Cedric is a great poser, but so is Brandon. The lights were agreeable with both of them. Cedric, unfortunately, I really think should go to the Camel Cruise, should go to Kuwait, or go to George Farah, or go to Hani Rambod, or go to Chad Nichols, or go to Trey Hodge, or Mike Eli, or Brian Hoydick. But you notice how I mentioned everybody but Chris Aceto? I mean, this is the Arnold Classic champion. The Arnold Classic champion, the guy that barely placed top 10 at the Mr. Olympia, and now Brandon Curry is an amazing champion. Won the Arnold Australia, won in New Zealand, had a great Olympia outing, but he is not the Arnold Classic champion. And he did not place top 5 in the Mr. Olympia. And so for Cedric not to win the Ferrigno, I mean, he couldn't have lost to a more competent and a more deserving person than Brandon Curry, but he shouldn't have lost. The Arnold Classic champion should not lose to anyone. Maybe to the Mr. Olympia, but that would be the only person that that particular champion should lose to. And previous Arnold Classic champions would not have lost. Dexter Jackson, Kai Green, Dennis Wolf. When these guys, arrived at a competition, the only question was who was placing second to last, because first was theirs. And the fact that Cedric could not win the Ferrigno, again, Brandon, incredibly deserving, incredibly dangerous, has made a massive transformation, did place ahead of Cedric at the Mr. Olympia, but even still, Cedric being the Arnold Classic champion, barely placing top 10 and not winning the Ferrigno is, really, grounds for pause. Okay, San Marino's this weekend, so a lot of people are excited about that. San Marino's really cool. It's like this tiny little city-state within Italy. It's kind of like the Vatican, obviously a little bit bigger, but very, very interesting. Also, I wanted to say Luimarco, we could not talk about Luimarco. Luimarco is actually going back. This is crazy. He's going to the Dubai Muscle Show the 8th and 9th of December, and he's going to be working there with Sporter, which apparently is like one of the biggest fitness stores in the Middle East. So Luimarco, I thought that Kuwait Pro was going to be, a one-of-a-kind type deal, and Louis was going to go back to, talking to the webcam and just, staying away from the limelight. But apparently, he's become a fixture. And now he's working for a supplement store, and he's linked up with Redcon, it seems. It seems like he's becoming everything that he said he would never become. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen there? Who knows what's going to happen there? But I'm also blocked by him on Instagram and Twitter. So I'm blocked by Louis, I'm blocked by CT, and I'm blocked by Phil Heath. Anyways, guys, enjoy your Thanksgiving. Remember, it's really about family. I know a lot of people are excited about Black Friday and Cyber Monday and all the killer deals, but it's really about family. It's about friends. It's about being thankful for what you have and just really having a positive outlook, because honestly, that really makes a big difference. Surround yourself with positive people. Always think about growing yourself, bettering yourself, getting better jobs and sponsorships and more business opportunities. And the people that are negative and the people that want to bring you down, just don't even bother with them. Don't acknowledge them. Certainly don't talk to them. Just keep doing your thing. Till the next one, this is Christian Duque, MD Noble Weekly, brought to you courtesy of IronMagLabs.com, your go-to source for all your bodybuilding and fitness supplements.